fight fans, to episode 79 of the Hooks In MMA podcast. This week we have another hat trick for you. 3 guests joining the show, starting off with Terrance T-Rex McKinney. He's fighting this Saturday night on the UFC Fight Night. Makhachev versus Bobby Green. Can't wait for that fight. It's going to be great cheering on Bobby here, coming back after 10 days after a big win, and just one of those guys you always want to root for. But also up on the podcast, we've got Charlie, 917 Leary, as well as Junior Morgan. Zoni's going to tell you a bit about those guests, so make sure you tune in to the later half of the episode to hear their interviews and learn a bit more about their careers. And then, of course, we're getting ahead of that book. Like I said, a big fight night coming up this Saturday, kind of a sleeper card, some pretty good prelims and other main card fights. So we'll be breaking those down and getting ahead of that book. Zoni, kick us off and tell us a bit about this week's guest.
Yeah, so just first we have Terrance McKinney. This dude was a great guy to talk to. He's got, a ton of energy behind him, and just, very, very happy and go like a go-getter kind of guy. So yeah, he made his UFC debut, about 6 months ago. He fought Matt Frivola. I think it was more of a later fight replacement, and knocked him out in 7 seconds. So he made waves quick. It's going to be very tough to top that one. But, he's moving in the right direction here, looking for his 5th win in a row with his 5th stoppage in a row against Fares ZM. That'll be a good fight, and looking forward to that. Our other 2 guys we got on Bellator. So it's an early card on Friday because it's in Dublin. And I think it starts at 1 p.m. in the afternoon. We got Charlie Leary, who is looking to get on a 2-fight win streak here. He's kind of been flip-flopping between wins and losses. And we have Junior Morgan, And Junior Morgan is 3-0 himself, and he's looking to kind of derail the hype train that's Dara Kelly, a guy they've been building up for a while. One of the best prospects to never have a professional fight. He's 9-0 as an amateur with 9 finishes. He's a huge favorite on the betting lines. And Junior Morgan said himself, they brought me in to lose. I'm going to shock the world. He's got the 3 professional fights, and he's won them all. So somebody's always got to go here. And I hope it's our boy that we talked to this week, because he's a great guy, great attitude, and it's sometimes the hype train needs to be derailed. So let's see if that happens Friday.
Beautiful. So I know Z-Balls has been running his algorithms, modeling all the best bets of the week. We've got a great start to the year, and we're going to be continuing that to close out a very strong February. So why don't you kick us off here, Z? Let's get ahead of that book.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks, Kranz. Well, to recap our performance from the last episode of Easy Lines for UFC 271, we're an absolute tear here for 2022. After 4 events, we're 13 wins, 4 losses, winning percentage of 76% for 2022. We all told you to take the over in the Whitaker and Izzy fight in parlays, and also the fight to go decision straight up for -125. Majority of us, myself and Kranz, took Tai Tuivasa money line, and the majority again was right. Myself and Zone, I do believe, took Cannonier money line, and I think even I said finish specifically as well. The only thing I got wrong was the Whitaker pick, which was really more of a heart than a brain pick, but he had a great fight. Very competitive throughout. I'm not sure if there's really anyone currently in the middleweight division that's really at either of those two's level right now. We'll see. We'll see what kind of Jared can bring to the game to Izzy. But going into the fight night weekend, Easy Lines brings a career record of 161 wins, 99 losses, and career winning clip of 62%. We look to continue the hot streak with an absolute dandy of a main event matchup here. Late notice replacement by Bobby Green, taking on a fighter that everyone thought was always a contender even earlier in his career, Khabib's protege in Islam Makhachev. Yeah, that's absolute barn burner here, I think. All respect to Bobby Green for taking this fight on what is essentially a week's notice. Not to mention a week before a week before that, he had a 3-round decision win over a very formidable opponent, Nasrat Hakparas, I believe is how you say that. As Bobby Green said, and I believe his Ariel Helwani interview, he certainly wasn't the first call UFC made, but he was the first to accept the challenge here, and that's why he's such a fan's fighter. Basically, he never puts on a boring fight, no matter what he's matched or no matter who he's matched up with. I don't expect any different this Saturday night. Really lopsided line though, with Islam whopping -100 favorite on Bet365. Bobby Green at a +600. Yes, Islam is a stud, and Green is coming in on a short notice, but that seems a little heavy to me personally. Let's be clear here, though. I'm certainly picking Islam to win this fight, but there's some value to be had there, I think, on some of the Bobby Green props, or even really straight up money line +600. If you should choose to take the leap of faith here. But we all know Islam's wrestling and grappling pedigree, the Dagestani handcuff techniques and what have you, what he kind of does up against the fence, right? We know he's going to have an advantage there. But will Bobby be able to really get up from the ground, right? That's a bit of a tougher question to answer. If Green is able to move his feet well, stay defensive, he certainly has a chance in this fight. The problem is that they're fighting in the Apex Center this weekend with that smaller cage. And as we all saw most recently in the Wonder Boy and Bilal Muhammad fight, it really makes a difference. Thompson was not nearly as effective as he usually is. If he tried to move laterally at all, the cage was cutting him off already on one side, Bilal moving in on the other. He was running into takedowns, basically. I believe Islam will be able to implement a similar strategy here. Also, in Bobby's most recent fight against Nasrat, his opponent was, quite willing to stand in boxing range and trade with him, and not really offering much else in terms of offense. You don't want to do that with Bobby Green, who completely relies on his incredible boxing skills, hand speed, expert head movement, right? Reaction time, just amazing at this division. If you try to play that game with him, you're going to lose every time. Islam is not only obviously a threat of the takedown, but he also utilizes a kicking game a lot more, right? Bobby Green's most recent opponents, like Fazeev, as an example, excellent kicking game, got the best of him there in against Bobby in that decision. It was one of the better fights of 2021, though, I will say. Actually, it was a very competitive fight. A place where Bobby could have an potential advantage, I believe, is in cardio. Can Islam really go 5 rounds at this pace that he does? We don't know yet. In Bobby's last fight, he ran all the way down from the locker room to the cage with an incredible 15 minutes, moving with such quickness, right? Hands down, dipping and dodging his head like nuts, talking shit the entire time, or a lot of the time. At the end, he barely looked tired. He ran back to the locker room, basically high-fiving everyone while he was running back. So he looks pretty good to go. I think he has an advantage there, and I don't doubt have any concerns there. So my main play for this fight is the over. I see value on the over 1.5 at -200. Use it in 2 or 3 leg parlays. Over 2.5 rounds +100 looks juicy to me at that. I could see that fight easily, ending in the 3rd or 4th round. Again, obviously end of the 3rd round, we're hoping there, and certainly could go the distance as well. I don't see either of these guys finishing each other in the first 2 rounds. Of course, it could happen. Anything in MMA is certainly possible, but it looks like a good investment to me. I think a lot of these main events, the guys are more equal in terms of skill set, so it causes a little bit of a standoff in terms of attack, true offense in the first round or so, right? So and they already know in their mindset it's a 5-round fight, so it kind of makes them just their mindset longer fight. And these are just it's not like a Michael Chandler explosive could end in the 2nd round type of thing, not in my opinion. Who knows though? Islam decision +275 could be. I think there's some value there. If anything, I see Bobby, if he losing, he puts on a great performance. He'll lose the fight, I think, but will be a winner in the fans' eyes. And who knows? Bobby Bobby finish plus 1,000, decision plus 1,600. Like that decision plus 1,600, I'm feeling like I'm putting a quarter unit on that for sure. Makachev, fourth round finish.
Let's go.
Plus 900. And yeah, I think that's pretty much it for me. What are you boys feeling for that main fight?
1/10 of a unit on Bobby Green's second round finish, plus 3,300.
Stop, man.
Yo, why wouldn't you?
All right.
No, what did you say? Second round? No, you got fourth round. No, you got to take later. You got to take like a third or a fourth round, not a second round.
No, he's gonna come out crazy, just swinging.
First round finish.
First round just getting range. Second round going for the kill. You'll see.
Well, you know what? That would do him well. I mean, certainly that would be you don't want to let Islam get into a rhythm by any means, right? So
just crazy odds, man. Like that's unreal value, and who cares if you lose a couple of bucks? It's worth the sweat. But yeah, in all seriousness, I like that fight to go distance or Islam by decision. They're only a couple cents different, so I don't know why you just wouldn't go fight to go the distance in case the judges go crazy or it is a really close fight and maybe the judges have an emotional thing towards Bobby Green. So plus 250 for it to go to the scorecards isn't.
I like that adjustment, Franz. I do like that. Yeah. Plus 250 makes a little bit more sense there.
It's good value. Like, I mean, for this weight class, for these style of fighters, they both are fairly durable and I think have good engines and gas tanks. So I don't know. That would be my pick. There's no point to be taking Islam money line or anything like that. So sprinkle a bit on Bobby, round betting, and then fight to go the distance is great. Great plus 250 value, I think.
I think only one thing has to happen for that to happen, Kronz, for it to go the distance, and that's Bobby not allowing him to keep him down, sprawling.
Movement.
And if his movement, if he has that cardio and he can use the sprawls in his wrestling base from when he first started MMA, and like he's gonna win on the feet, like unless Makhachev, clips him, because he does have some underrated power, and he did say he's going to finish this fight different than he has in the past. So I don't know what he means by that, but I love Bobby Green on the feet. I love his counter punching and his head movement and his footwork. And if he can just stay on his feet, I mean, why couldn't he win by decision, right? So
absolutely. Yeah. So very exciting fight, even though it is lopsided in the odds. What do you got up next, East?
Yeah, absolutely. In the co-main event, we have a middleweight fight between Misha Serkinov taking on Wellington Turman. Basically a pick'em fight here. Misha, slight favorite, minus 125. Wellington, a plus 100. Misha moving down from light heavyweight after being finished in the first round by the likes of Johnny Walker back when he was KOing everyone, if you remember, in the UFC. Also Glover Teixeira and Ryan Spann. Made the move down, fought in October last year, taking on middleweight Krzysztof Jotkov and and losing by a split decision. I like Misha as a fighter, fellow Canadian, but I'm not really sure if this move down to middleweight was the right move for him. He had ridiculous muscle mass. His trap and back muscles made him look like he was literally wearing like a turtle shell or something sometimes at that weight class. I think that was more of a natural weight class for him. If you take a look at him at middleweight now, he looks totally different, a little physically drained. He certainly has the reach advantage, height advantage, overall size advantage, I think, but he doesn't have as much oomph behind it at this point. I believe my fellow hosts here are going to be going against me, which is fine. Totally understand. And I'm willing to eat my words here, but I think decision win Wellington Turman plus 260 has good value. Maybe a half unit on there. I like the over in this fight, since we're probably going to disagree on the winner, see what we think about the over 1.5 minus 175. both of these overs in these fight over 1.5. If you parlay both of those, it gets you plus 135. Again, excellent for a unit play there. But yeah, what do you guys think? I know we kind of spoke a little bit, chatted before the show here. I think you guys are leaning on Serkinov, but yeah, what do you guys see there?
Yeah.
Go.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So I can totally see what you're saying, and if Serkinov's going to lose, I think he loses by decision, and so like I can't disagree with you there. I have a feeling that he finally gets back in the win column here. I know I agree with you as well. Moving down to middleweight does take away energy and power and strength, but I still think we were talking about IQ. Like he's a really good mixed martial artist. When he's been finished, he's been, a little bit too aggressive. But Turman hasn't shown me anything. Like he really hasn't beaten anyone, and I think he's on a losing streak now. I haven't checked, but probably a 2-fight losing streak, something like that. And he hasn't fought in really good guys. Like Serkinov at light heavyweight was ranked within the top 10 for a while. Yep. I like him to sub Turman. I really do. I don't know when this will happen. I just think he's gonna wrap him up, and I don't know. He might even pull off something in the past that he's pulled off. Like I think he pulled off a Peruvian necktie. I think once. Like I'm thinking something like that. Like he's what's the word I'm looking for?
He's savvy, like veteran.
No, well, yeah, that. But he's when you're like competent. He's competent on his feet, but I think he really thrives on the ground, and I think he'll hold his end of the bargain up on the feet, and I think he's eventually going to get Turman down and sub him. That's where I'm leaning towards, but I could totally see what you said happening as well.
Yeah, I agree, Zone. You look at their strength of schedule, and I mean, Misha's fought Glover Teixeira, Ian Kutalaba, Nikita Krylov, Jimmy Crute, Ryan Spann, Johnny Walker, like killers. I look at Turman. His last fight was a split decision over Sam Alvey, who's lost 5 or 6 in a row.
I think like 8 in a row or something.
8 in a row, and
he's like 40 years old.
And you're winning a split over him, and then you look behind that 2 straight. He got finished 2 fights in a row, and then I literally don't know anyone on his record other than Carlston Harris, who he lost to, and it wasn't even in the UFC. So by that fact alone, I have to go Misha, especially because it is a pick'em-ish odd, and Misha's going to be the bigger guy. He's taller. He's going to have way more mass. I do agree with Z that he could gas out, and if he loses, will lose by decision. But I am going to be going on Misha by finish. That's my prop bet. I'm feeling really good just looking through their past records, and I'm excited for the fight. I think that one will be a banger. So, anyways, maybe we'll move on to some of the other main cards. Z, do you have any other breakdowns you want to share?
The only other one I wanted to quickly add on there, I don't have too much of in-depth analysis, but Yoel Alvarez underdog plus 175. I am feeling that one as well as an underdog. Feeling the underdogs again this weekend. Armin Petrosyan. Not sure if I'm saying that right exactly, but plus 150. I like both of those underdogs as a half unit play, whatever you're comfortable with. Each of those, it's for the value again. We're looking at this over the long run, right, boys? So we're not going to win every bet, we know that, but a plus 150, plus 175, that looks like good value to me. So yeah, what else are you guys thinking?
I'll touch on the Yoel fight real quick, just because I really like this kid. He's coming off a stand-up knockout or stand-up TKO. Pretty rare frame, right? 6'3", 155er here. You don't see that too often. He's going to have a 5-inch reach advantage as well. And I mean, you just look at his track record. He's 11-1 in his last 12, and every single one's been a finish. That's insane. At least for a lightweight, you got to expect a few decisions sprinkled in. No, his only loss there is Ismagulov, who's 20-1, close fight decision back in 2019, and then since then 4-fight win streak. The last 3 were all first round finishes, and then the other one was a second round knockout. So I mean, the kid's wild. I remember the last one, Thiago Moises.
Yeah, that was nuts.
Yeah, we talked about it on the show. Fucking, this guy was a plus 210 underdog and came out and just obliterated him. And Moises is no pushover. Moises has a crazy track record and great resume. So like, to make quick work of him, boy oh boy, watch out. 6'3", 155er. I'm going hard on this kid this week. What about you, Zone?
I love the fight in general. I still don't know who I'm gonna go pick. So I'm gonna keep just watch the weigh-ins, double check. I know they say you're supposed to bet earlier on in the week for the value. So I'm hoping that doesn't screw me if I end up going Alvarez, but check the weigh-ins, and then I'll obviously be putting some units on it. I'm not sure where I'm going yet. Yeah, just a couple things to touch on quick. So two fights on the Bellator card on Friday. So the co-main event, value pick, Leah McCourt. I really like her to get the job done against Sinead Kavanaugh. This would give her probably a title shot with a win. She's a plus 110 underdog. And my lock of the week is Gegard Mousasi against Austin Vanderford. Paige Van Zandt's boyfriend. He has never, ever fought anybody like Gegard with the skill set that he has. He's a minus 230. So if you parlay those two together, I like that co-main two fight parlay there. And then just in the UFC, couple quick ones for you. Josiane Nunez has had like 3 or 4 late fight replacements here. This is like the 4th one or something like that. I really like her to get the job done at minus 200. You can definitely parlay that with something else. An underdog pick, Zhu Rong. He's fighting Ignacio Bahamondes, who had that crazy spinning wheel kick finish at the last part of last year against Roosevelt Roberts. It kind of was a lucky thing. Usually those things are, I guess. It was right at the end of the fight with seconds left. Zhu Rong, I think, is a bit underrated here at plus 187. I absolutely love the value there. And I think I had one more, and it was Jonathan Martinez. He's fighting Alejandro Perez. He's a minus 250. I like him to win this fight, and I like him to win by decision, plus 140 for Martinez against Perez. So that's the last one I got there.
Beauty. Just so our watchers know, this one it appears to be an early card this week, because I'm seeing 1600
4 p.m.
Yep. 4 p.m. So just make sure, right? Lock these in early, and we'll be meeting you at the Cashier mid Saturday night. But good luck. We'll catch you next week for episode 80. It's going to be a banger.
Big one next week.
Absolutely. Let's keep this big streak alive, and we're going to close out February here in that 70, maybe high 70% win rate. So let's.
I want to throw one thing in there, Kronz, as well. I just cashed out my my Wellington Turman straight up bet. You guys convinced me, but I do still have the half unit on decision win plus 260 for him. I do like that plus 260.
Yeah, that's a good.
But yeah,
I like the hedge. I like the hedge.
Not too bad, and I still like the over. I mean, Misha could catch him in that sub. I'm hoping though it's the end of the second round or after. So, anyways, that's all I wanted to add there. Thanks, buddy.
Hey, that might just get us into the low 80s right there. So
that last little second twitch.
yeah, exactly. You know, when you're tweaking your fantasy lineup, there you go, right there. That's
you just subbed in the guy on the bench for your wide
My flex
receiver, tight
position.
end, flex position. Yeah.
And then the guy you put in tears his ACL in the first quarter. Thanks.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Misha gets fucking KO'd in the first 10 seconds. No, it's not gonna happen.
Oh,
Not gonna happen.
no, that's not happening, guys. We're getting to 80%. Perfect timing because episode 80 is next week. So we'll see you then. Tune into these interviews. Another hat trick. Zony's been killing it. Let's go.
80 on 80. Next up on the Hooks In MMA podcast, we're lucky to have on 11-3 lightweight. He's currently on a 4-fight win streak, looking to make it 5. Got a big fight coming up in a couple of weeks here. Terrance T-Rex McKinney, how's it going, man?
It's doing great, man. It's an exciting time, man. I'm excited if the fighters pay. I think it's going to get better soon. I'm excited to be in this era.
Absolutely, yeah. It's only going up, and there's a lot of stuff in the media. A lot of people, showing what they feel about fighter pay, and it has become an issue. Let's raise that up and let's get you paid, right?
Can you hear me?
Yeah, we're good.
Okay.
Yeah, let's get that fighter pay up. We'll go from there. Yeah, so just coming into the UFC, I'm still a big LFA fan. I saw you fight a few times, a couple amazing performances there, and then obviously getting signed with the UFC. You had your debut, and just an unbelievable first fight that no one could ever dream up, right? Just your mixed martial arts career, what got you into MMA, and how did you make it all the way to the UFC?
What got me into MMA was seeing Mike Kielser at Winter Ultimate Fighter Show, and when I died, I saw I was supposed to fight, so that kind of just made me want to fight after that. So I just went to wrestling college for a year, and then I went straight to wrestling after that.
Yeah, did you play other sports growing up too?
I used to love basketball, but I was trash, so I hung it up, start wrestling.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. And just after that performance, moving forward. So how have you been kind of sharpening your tools? Moving up to this next your second bout in the UFC. So if people don't know, you should know. But 7-second knockout over Matt Frivola, who obviously just had a good performance himself. But yeah, what have you been working on specifically to kind of sharpen the tools moving up to February 26th here?
Just being a complete mixed martial artist, mixing in my takedowns, setting them up, just making sure I'm coming out and just really keeping them guessing. And then we're going to look for that solid punch, and we know what's going to happen if it connects the right way.
Absolutely, yeah. So you're fighting Faraz Zaim. That's on the 26th. What do you know about him, and how do you feel like you stack up against him?
I think he's good at the basics. I think he is very technical, but I don't see him being like spectacular like at anything. Like, no disrespect. I just think he's just average in like all areas, and I think that's where I'm going to get him, because I know for a fact I'm a better wrestler. I know for a fact my speed and power is more than his, and that's going to be showcased February 26th.
Yeah, and on the 26th, obviously you have probably a number one contender bout headlining the card, Dariush and Makhachev. The 155-pound division, in my opinion, is either first or second deepest in the entire world with bantamweight, in my opinion. So just having, those two guys lead on the card here, and obviously not overlooking this fight for you, like you're able to showcase what the lightweight division's all about, right? Do you agree with that?
Exactly, and there's a lot of upcoming 155ers, like Ignacio's on there, Armin versus Joel Alvarez, and we're gonna see who the true rising star is, man. And I know God's on my side in his journey, and people gonna know God's real once they see the kind of performance I put with. They're gonna know that he's by my side on his journey, and I'm just excited to take over the game. But I know there's steps to it, and it starts with Ferris.
Absolutely. And just outside of training and fighting, what are some of the hobbies you have just to keep yourself happy and busy?
I just play 2K, sleep. Really, like it's like a full-time job for me. Like my fun times probably watching the fights or a movie, but I like to stay pretty sheltered lately because I got a lot going on. I got a lot to prove, so I'm on a one-way track, man, until I get that belt.
So we're gonna do between rounds segment, 1 minute. I'm gonna ask you a question to give me your best answer. Okay.
All right, let's get it.
Who's the team that you pick most on 2K?
I would have to say the Bucks.
And favorite player in the league?
LeBron James.
What's your favorite place to travel to in America?
I would have to say Montana. The hot springs there are fire.
Place I've always wanted to go to as well. So I can't wait to get there someday.
Yeah, you gotta go.
Yeah.
Good day. Lit scenery.
Awesome. Favorite movie of all time?
I would have to say Aragon. Like it got slept on, but I like it. I want them to make a second movie. So off to the next book.
I'll cross fingers for you for that one. What's your favorite kind of music?
I like to mix it up, man. I'm definitely when music good is music good. Like very diverse in the music aspect. I like country. I like hip hop. I like R&B. I like anything that has a good rhythm with it and it flows, man. Good music is good music. That's how I feel.
Good way to explain that. And a favorite couple of mixed martial artists of all time?
Right now, I'd have to say Anderson Silva, and then Izzy and Peter Yan. Those are I think those guys are nasty and one of my favorite people to watch.
Awesome.
Right now.
Yeah, and we'll get to see Izzy this weekend. Looking forward to that card.
Yes, sir.
Who do you like in that fight?
I got Izzy, but by decision this time.
Okay. Yeah. Can't wait to see that rematch. And any sponsor shout outs or social media just to finish up here?
Shout out to Warrior Camp. Shout out to Iranian Sports Agency. And shout out to my family. And that includes my teammate and my blood. And shout out to God most importantly, because I wouldn't be here today without him.
February 26th, Terrance T-Rex McKinney. I'm going to get that win streak going here and put the lightweight division on notice. Good luck to you, sir. And this is Hooks in MMA.
Thanks, brother. Nice to be on here.
Yeah, you too. Thank you. Next up on the Hooks in MMA podcast, we're lucky to have on 17, 11, and 1 lightweight. He's got a big fight coming up on February 25th. Charlie 917 Leary. How's it going today, man?
I'm good, thank you. I'm good. How are you?
Yeah, I'm good, thanks. I just got off work and we were able to make our time work here with the time change. So, just speak to, growing up, where you did and what got you into MMA.
I was born and bred in Watford, little town in England, outside of London. I grew up playing football. I love football, as in like soccer. Always thought I was going to be a professional, but my brother boxed, was a good amateur boxer, so I always liked the combat sports. Always watching boxing and stuff like that growing up, but I always stayed away from it because I didn't want to get injured to play football and stuff like that. And it turns out I actually got injured playing football more than I do doing MMA, which is crazy. But yeah, and then we used to watch UFC from day one. It was on the VHS and stuff like that. My brother got some, and then I started falling out of love with football and finally found somewhere to actually train and never looked back. That was it. Quit football and started playing, and quit playing and started doing MMA.
Yeah, and obviously it's worked out for you. You've done very well over your career. Yeah. You've had a lot of experience. What so far up to date? What would you say is like the highlight of your career thus far?
You know what? Getting signed by Bellator was probably the biggest and the best thing for me, because it allowed me to do it as a career. Do you know what I mean? I've been fighting professional for a long time, but the money's just not there. If anyone's getting into it for the money, fame, and fortune and stuff, it's not there, especially seeing in the UK on the UK scene. There's some great shows, but the money's just not in it. So I was working full-time nights and all sorts, trying to make it. So highlight of my career has got to be obviously signing with Bellator and being able to make it a career and live off just the fighting sort of thing. But I've had some good fights, some high-level fights. I mean, I retained one of my titles against a guy called Rob Sinclair, who, when I made my pro debut, he was winning the BAMA lightweight title when I made my pro debut. So to then go and defend my lightweight title against him and beat him was quite a highlight of my career. That was nice because he was always the number one when I was coming up through the sport. So
Absolutely, and from what I see, that put you on a 5-fight win streak, and then ultimately got you to sign with Bellator eventually. With your Bellator experience so far, I think you're 3-2. You can make it 4-2 this month here. What have you been working on to sharpen your tools for later in the month here?
You know what? It is a lot of it is just sharpening up my tools. I'm staying a little bit more focused, being a little bit more disciplined, and things like that. I think I find that I rush a little bit in my fights. You know what I mean? I drop a lot of people. I hit pretty hard, and I find I smother my work too much. Like I'll drop them and rush in and end up in a scramble, or not really getting the work finished and stuff like that. Where I need to stay a little bit more composed, and look to finish fights a little bit better. Do you know what I mean? Clean my work up a little bit, be a bit crisper, and not overthrow my shot so much. And that is it. It's just trying to perfect the skills that I've got now, and trying to add little new ones here and there. So.
Yeah, so all the things you speak about, it'll be on display on the 25th. So you're fighting, I'm not sure if you've watched a lot of tape on him, but it's Davy Galan. What do you know about him?
Yeah,
and how do you think you match up against him?
You know, he's really experienced. Now, obviously, I think a lot of people will know him. Like people go, "Oh, who you fighting?" I say, Davy Gallion or whatever. And I'm an R, and then you tell them he's the one that knocked out Ross Pearson with the Rolling Thunder. And they go, "Oh, yeah, I know who he is." Yeah. And everyone knows of that fight. But he's got a lot of experience, man. He's done a lot of, he's fought some good level guys and stuff like that. A bit crazy. You've always got to be on your toes. Do you know what I mean? He throws some crazy stuff. I think he tries to steal some rounds a little bit with his judo at the end of rounds with a throw and stuff like that. But I feel like he's quite short, and he struggles a little bit more with the longer, taller guy. So as long as I can keep my boxing long and stay disciplined with that, and keep behind my jab and outbox him, then he's in trouble, because then he's going to try to look to get on the inside, and I love to be in there in the pocket throwing leather anyway. So that's where I want to be. But if I can make him come in there after picking him off, then happy days. That's what I do. So
drag him into the Leary style fight, right?
Exactly. That's it. Yeah, make it dirty and grind on him.
Yeah, and just outside of training, outside of fighting, what are some things you like to do?
You know what? I've got 2 kids at the moment. A boy who is 6 or 6.5. I love to go and watch him play football, and play a little bit of computer with him and stuff like that. Just spend time with the family and the kids. I've got a daughter now who is just over 1.5. So it's nice. It's a nice setup. Family time is good for me, man. I like to relax and just chill out and eat too much most of the time when I'm not in fight camp. But like I say, family time is what it means to me, and that's why it's such a big thing to be signed for Bellator and have this as a career. It means when I'm outside of training, I get to spend a lot of time with my kids and my family. So it's nice.
Which is what's worth the most is that support system around you. The 6-year-old show any interest in any sports at all yet, or?
Yeah, big time. He was doing taekwondo at school. He's playing football now. He's doing gymnastics. He loves sport and stuff like that. So he comes and he hits pads with me sometimes. He's grown up in the gym. I took him to the gym a lot. But I don't want to force anything on him. Do you know what I mean? I don't want to push him into anything, because he'll just rebel and get away from it. So I let him play whatever sports he wants. But he's very sporty. He does love his sports and stuff like that. So it's all good.
That's awesome. Just to finish up, we do a one minute between rounds segment. I'll ask you a question. You give me your best answer, okay?
Yeah, of course.
If someone hadn't been to England before, I have. So I've been to a few spots. It was beautiful. I loved it. If someone hadn't been there before, where would you tell them to go to check out?
Depending on what you want, nightlife wise and hustle and bustle, you've got to go into London. No two ways about it. I really like my dad lives up on the coast at Lowestoft, Great Yarmouth. such a beautiful place. Always go there if you want a beach and stuff like that. Go Lowestoft or Great Yarmouth.
And what about outside England? Where's the coolest place you've traveled to?
Man, I fought in Abu Dhabi once. That was something different. That was a bit of a strange one. You know what? I went to Paris. I really loved Paris. That was really nice. I went there with a wife just before the first little one was born. That was really nice. I enjoyed that.
Cool. What about your favorite English footballer of all time?
Full time. It's got to be David Beckham.
Yeah. What about Rooney? Would he be up there as well, or?
Yeah, Rooney's good. Obviously, absolute legend. But yeah, it was always Beckham for me. Beckham was the number one.
And I'm from Canada, and we're 1 point away in our area here to qualify for the World Cup for the first time in decades.
Yeah.
So my question to you would be, just who do you think in the World Cup later this year has the couple of the greatest chances to win? Who do you like?
I mean, you can't ever write off like Brazil and Argentina and stuff like that. But I don't know. I think England have a chance if they can keep playing the way that they played in the Euros and stuff like that. But I've got a horrible feeling with it being in Qatar and stuff. The time difference is weird. It's going to be in the summer and hot and stuff like that. So I've got a feeling it's going to be one of like the South American teams, just because they're more acclimatized to that sort of weather and stuff like that, and playing in that sort of heat.
I like that analysis. And just finally, who are a couple of your favorite mixed martial artists of all time?
Robbie Lawler, without a doubt, one of the legends. GSP, got to be right up there. And at the moment, man, I love Gaethje. I love the way Gaethje fights, and you can't knock the guy. So
yeah, I can't wait for him and Oliveira. That'll be a banger for sure. Any sponsors, shout outs, or social media just to finish up here?
Listen, man, I've got a lot of sponsors. I know I'll probably forget some, but this camp, massive for me, is JJK Fuel. They've been dealing with my meals and stuff like that. It's been a massive difference for me. I've got N2 Cryo, Hemel Physio. They've been really looking after me. Whiskey Wolf's always been there for me. It helps me with my apparel and clothing, does all my banners. Sweet Sweat, massive help. I've got DK Electrical, Capital Heating, XL Plumbing, Buddha Apparel. I'm sure I've forgotten some, but there's loads out there. But I've been really lucky with the amount of help and stuff that I get. It's hard in the UK to get sponsors, so I've been really lucky that I get some close friends and stuff that are helping me out. So I can't complain.
Awesome. Yeah, shout out to all those sponsors. And so February 25th, Bellator 275.
Yeah.
Really looking forward to your matchup.
Thank you, mate.
Yeah, very excited. We wish you nothing but the best. Thanks for your time. And Charlie 917 Leary, this is Hooks and MMA. Thanks so much, bro.
Thank you, man. Thanks a lot for having me, and thanks for the time.
No problem. Thank you. Next up on the Hooks in MMA podcast, we have 3-0 professional fighter from England. He's got a big fight coming up on February 25th at Bellator 275. Junior Morgan, how's it going, man?
Hey, good. I'm good. I'm great.
Yeah. So how was your day today? What did you get up to?
Oh, well, I was in work today. Finished work at 4 o'clock, straight to the gym, get a session in, and then get some food and relax. Start the process again tomorrow.
Yeah. And just, being from England, growing up, did you play any other sports growing up? And ultimately, what decided, what did MMA decide for you to start into that?
Yeah, didn't really play any other sports, to be fair. Did a little bit of football in school, a little bit of basketball. Nothing consistently. Had a few kickboxing lessons, did a few boxing classes. That was it really, and then kind of just went straight into MMA. A couple of my friends wanted to try it out. I tagged along and done a few classes. I stuck to it. They dropped off, and here we are.
Yeah. So I usually ask this
Yeah.
depending on how many amateur fights someone has, but some people don't even go amateur. Sometimes they they start off kickboxing or Muay Thai, whatever it may be. What ultimately was the reason you decided after, I believe, 7 amateur fights that I'm ready for the pro scene?
Yeah, it was just more being in the sport for so long and seeing all my other training partners that I came up with on the amateur scene turning pro, and doing well, fighting pro, and I kind of just thought, like, it's time. Like, if I'm going to carry on fighting, I may as well take it a little bit serious for at least the last few years of my my career, and then see where I can get.
Yeah, so obviously your pro record's 3-0. You have 3 finishes, and this big fight coming up here. So, what do you know about your opponent on the 25th, and how do you think that you stack up against them?
He's I know he was 9-0 as an amateur, 9 finishes. So very good record, very good ability. He's predominantly a wrestler, grappler. But yeah, he's obviously it'll be a good test. Very aggressive fighter, forward pressure fighter. So yeah, I feel I stack up well against him. So yeah, it is what it is. Fight's a fight, to be fair. Anything can happen in a fight, so I don't really look at what his abilities are and stuff like that. I just look at what I'm going to do in the fight, what I bring to the table, and if my game comes off on top, then it comes off on top. Just the way it is, isn't it?
Yeah, and that makes a lot of sense. But I just wanted to ask you, so going from amateur to pro, that first pro fight, did you have any extra nerves being, a professional fight? And do you think this will be something different that he'll have to go through this time?
I didn't really have many. It was the same for me, to be fair. Like, I feel like amateur and pro now is very, very similar. There's just obviously the extra 2 minutes in the round, and you've got elbows and stuff. Other than that, everything else is pretty much the same.
You wouldn't say
like he's got a lot.
I was just going to say, you wouldn't be like any extra nerves, you don't think, for him?
I feel like he's going to have extra nerves because he's fighting on home territory. He's fighting on his home turf. He's the prospect. I've been brought in there to basically lose. Do you know what I mean? So there's no pressure on me. I've got nothing to lose because I'm expected to lose. I'm going onto his turf, his home turf. He's the prospect. He's the one that's had the undefeated record, amateur record. He's got to keep that up. So all the pressure's on him. There's no pressure on me because I've got nothing to lose. I'm expected to lose going over there onto his home soil. So yeah, all the pressure's on him from my point.
Yeah, I like that. So outside of training, outside of, I think you said, you're at work. What do you do for, for fun? What are some of your hobbies?
All sorts. Go to the gym. I go hiking. I go and play golf. Paintballing. All sorts. I do, literally all sorts.
Awesome. Just to finish up, we have a 1 minute between round segment. I'm going to ask you a question. You give me your best answer. Okay. Yeah. What is your favorite sport other than MMA?
Oh, I don't really watch any other sports besides MMA, to be fair. Flipping heck. Oh, that's a tough one. A very, very tough one.
Sometimes people that don't really watch sports will say even wrestling or kickboxing or something.
Yeah, probably boxing.
Okay, yeah, we'll go with that. Where's the coolest place you've traveled to outside of England?
coolest place? The US or no? I think Thailand. Thailand's probably the best.
What's your favorite movie of all time?
Favorite movie of all time? Oh, American Gangster.
Yeah, great movie. What about a couple of your favorite mixed martial artists of all time?
Anderson, GSP. At the moment, current guys. Kamaru.
Yep.
Izzy. Nick and Nate. Yeah, we'll go with them.
Do you think Izzy gets it done this weekend against Whitaker?
I think he does. I don't think there's going to be a finish this time. I think it's going to be a close fight, but I think he's going to edge it.
Any sponsors, shout outs, or social media just to finish up?
Shout out to J7 Health. Shout out to Ray Rowlandson, Sports Performance. Shout out to VXS Trading Gear. Shout out to Rob Holsworth Therapy. Who else is there? Shout out Manchester Top Team, best training, best gym in Manchester. Always got to shout them out. I think that's it. Everyone else has kind of got off. Yeah, sorry if I've missed anyone.
All good. So can't wait for the hype train, the prospect to be derailed on the 25th of February. Derailed. Can't wait for that. I'm really excited to watch that fight and that whole card. And we wish you nothing but the best. And thank you so much for your time.
Thank you very much.
Junior Morgan, this is Hooks in MMA. Thanks so much, bro.
Appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
No problem.